All right, my beautiful friends, you and I have to talk because there are three things right now acting in concert which just happens to be sparking a pretty significant rally on Wall Street. And we're going to talk about this. Some of it, well, you know what? I'm going to let you decide at the end as to what you believe is going on here. So, as I am doing this video blog, stocks are higher across the board. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up more than 270 points. So, let's start off with the number one element in the trio of things which is pushing stocks higher right now. Would you be surprised to know that it's the Federal Reserve, number one, playing into this stock market rally? I'm sure you wouldn't be. So here's the story. It appears that the Federal Reserve is, in fact, going to pause with regard to unwinding its balance sheet. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, let's back up a little bit. If you remember, for months upon months, we heard Fed Chair Powell explaining that unwinding of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet was on autopilot. It was going to be shrinking, and nothing was going to get in the way. Then all of a sudden, we had this, good cop, bad cop thing with President Trump and the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve decided it was going to play ball with the president right now. And then Powell said, hey, you know what? Let me just say this. It may be flexible unwinding the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. Now we find out that it appears that there's going to be a pause here, and the market is freaking loving this. I really believe that's the number one thing playing into this. Again, the market is Fed-driven around the world. All the world central banks are running the show. You know that. So what does that mean? More easy money, more suppressed interest rates, cash moving into the stock market like you can't believe, like you're seeing today, and it's not going to stop until we hit a wall, whenever that might be. Might not be till who knows when, because again, this game is pretty epic. So that's number one, the Fed. Number two, there is more hope right now at least, that some kind of a real deal with China is going to be made rather soon. We've been hearing this now to the point of nauseum, and we know it's been fake story after fake story after fake story. But again, I guess the market thinks it's real this time. I don't know. It's still not catching on, I guess. So that's number two. Number three, there appears to be some kind of talk out there which believes that, and I hope this to be true as well, that some kind of a compromise is going to be made to reopen the government. So we'll see how this plays out. I think the number one thing that absolutely is true here, through all the nonsense, is the Federal Reserve is going to pause unwinding its balance sheet. It has no choice. Our economy is not as strong as we are being led to believe. Otherwise, the Fed could normalize. The Fed could be unwinding its balance sheet. It can't do it. We're stuck in QE for eternity. That's what's going on here, but it's not being portrayed as that. If the Federal Reserve is now talking about a pause here, what do you think the next step is going to be? Well, again, inflating its balance sheet. So this is, again, more quantitative easing. If the Federal Reserve is already suppressing interest rates, talking about a pause here, that's quantitative easing as well. But the next stage here would be, well, let's inflate our balance sheet more so we can keep everything propped up. I have no doubt that that is going to happen. With regard to the China trade, I don't know what to make of it. We've been hearing the same story repeated for months. Well, I don't know. Maybe this time something will happen. I don't know. What do you think? And in regard to the government shutdown, something's going to have to be done here. So maybe there is going to be some kind of compromise. But these three factors are playing into the rally we're seeing now, and we'll have to watch how this plays out. Me personally, as you all know, I did change my stance on this market. If you go to my website, traderschoice.net, I put short. I have switched that to neutral. Not only did I do that, I closed my, I had puts on SPY. I closed my initial small position with a small loss, like I explained to you. You only add to these positions if the market goes in the direction you think it's going to go. But here, look, I don't know what to say anymore with this. Every time it seems like this market's ready to do something, we get, a trio of things now floated out here to push stocks higher. It's an incredible situation. It really is. But that's the way it is. That's the business. Don't care. That's fine. So ponder these things, and I want to hear from you. Number one, do you believe, and I do believe this, but I want to hear from you, that the Federal Reserve is in fact going to pause its unwinding of its balance sheet? And do you also believe that the Fed is going to start at one point, who knows when, maybe soon, adding again or inflating its balance sheet? Number two, do you believe the rhetoric about a possible deal with China? Is that really going to happen now, or is it just more fake news? And with regard to a compromise here, with regard to the shutdown, is that going to happen anytime soon? I'm waiting to hear from all of you, and we'll see how that plays out. See you at the end of the day.